Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for.
And we welcome you back inside the Chevrolet Sports Night here on Spectrum News 1. Mike Solarte here with you. Tonight in our Sports Night Extra, as you know, we've said it often on this show, it's never too early to talk college basketball, and tonight we got a really special treat. Aaron Torres, nighttime host from Fox Sports Radio. He also hosts the Aaron Torres podcast, and he is a bona fide, certified hoop junkie. Joining us tonight from his palatial estate. Yeah, well, you're getting it done. Aaron, thank you so much for the time, man. It's good to see you again. We haven't seen each other since the Final Four, but how's the offseason treating you? Because we're kind of waiting for things to get cranked up again.
Well, I'll tell you, man, you know, it's the new world, and I think it's not only college football, college basketball, but college football as well, even college baseball. I mean, I'm not a college baseball guy, but with the portal stuff, you know, and then in basketball with the NBA draft deadline, I mean, there's really kind of roster movement and roster management now into late May, early June. You know, I'll be brief in saying this, but, you know, it wasn't that long ago that the season would end on a Monday. You'd talk about college hoops for kind of a Tuesday, maybe into Wednesday, and then there wasn't really much to talk about until practice started in the fall. So it's a little hectic. I know it's a lot for fans to follow, but I enjoy it. And as I said, it certainly gives me, you, everybody who does this, plenty to talk about in the springtime.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's dive into the ACC, and we'll start with the rulers of the roost after last season, the Duke Blue Devils, national semifinalists that lost their starting five thanks to the NBA draft, but they follow it with the top recruiting class in the country. Rebuilding or reloading for John Shire and company?
Well, I think that we got like a 20-plus year track record of it's pretty much reloading every single year. When was the last rebuild? When Coach K's back surgery happened? I mean, It's been a long time. Yeah. So no, you know, all I'll say is, you know, you and I. So you obviously are around Coach Shire more than I am, being where you are. I was so impressed by how he handled himself at that Final Four in you know the lead up to it, and then of course it was disappointment, but always crediting his players and his assistants and his staff and whoever. And, you know, I came away really impressed. And I came away impressed by him, by the program that he has not only inherited, but, you know, he's kind of taken in a different direction in some ways from even Coach K. But no, they have a lot of talent. I think what's interesting is there's probably more returning. I don't know if production's the right word. There's more returning players with guys like Isaiah Evans and Damian Harris, guys like that. But really the story is the freshman class, as you said, Cam Boozer, the Boozer twins, Dame Sarr coming in from Italy late. Listen, I think Coach Shire has done a masterful job in this era of continuing to find ways to accumulate talent. And I think it's hard to expect better than whatever they were, 33-4 or something like that. Right. But I think to your point, as good, if not better, than anybody in the ACC going into next year.
All right, let's talk about their rivals in the light blue, the Carolina Blue, the Tar Heels. They started the NCAA tournament last year in Dayton. Hubert Davis remains the head coach. He's got a general manager now for the program. But the national perception of Hubert Davis is what? Is his seat actually getting a little warm now in Chapel Hill?
Yeah, I think it's fair. I mean, listen, you would speak better to season by season, moment by moment expectations, but you know, 2 out of 3 years, we're talking about a team that either missed the tournament or easily could have missed the tournament this past year, and that does not seem to be the standard of Carolina of what I expect. And so, you know, like you said, I think behind the scenes, some things needed to get done. You know, we've seen the reports on what the budget was that he had to work with in this last year that we think of unlimited spending in NIL. And I'm just curious with the roster that he's put together. I actually do like a lot of the pieces. Caleb Wilson coming in as a freshman, Henry Visar, the transfer from Arizona. I do think there's a lot of questions, but I do think if it all comes together, some of the, you know, Luka Bogovic, the international player late, I do think that this is the makings of probably a team that they're better than they're being given credit for. But the pieces do have to come together, to your point, Mike, in a season that's really kind of make or break for Hubert Davis.
Let's go up the road a little bit to Wake Forest and check in on Steve Forbes. Loses Hunter Salas, Cam Hildreth, and some others, but they add Miles Colvin, Nakai Mason, Nate Calmese. Can the Deeks get over the hump this year and make it to the field of 68?
68 for now. That's always subject to change.
I didn't want to go there, but
yeah. Yeah. No, listen, I am a huge Steve Forbes guy in terms of who he was coming in. I've been a little bit underwhelmed just by the results. And I think Wake Forest fans, again, I'll let you speak for them being in the area more than I am, but I expected NCAA tournaments by now, and it's hard to right now say that they are in a better position today than they were at this time last year with Hunter Salas deciding to not go into the NBA draft. So, Forbes has been on the cusp. He has not quite gotten over the hump, and I think it's up to him to prove that he can do it this year. Just transparently, I just don't think the roster is as good as last year, and if you couldn't get it done last year, I hope I'm wrong. I'm a child of the 90s, grew up with Wake being a prominent part of the college basketball picture, but we'll see what happens this year.
All right, let's go back into Raleigh and check in on a guy that you've talked at length with, Will Wade, the new head coach of the Wolfpack. What can you make of what he's had to do thus far? Because he didn't come into a reloading situation. He basically had to start from the foundation with his roster.
Yeah, it's the new era. And, I give him a lot of credit. And I did have him on my show over the course of the summer. And I think the thing that stood out is in this era, I think it's so easy. Guys are entering the portal. Guys are coming off the board. You have a new team. You have a new roster. And the one thing that he's not only said to me, but to so many of the other media availabilities that he's done is that I think he and his staff really took their time in trying to figure out the right pieces for that program. I mean, he used the term that's pretty popular, but, measure twice, cut once. Like, let's get the right guys in this program, even if it takes a little bit longer. And so, obviously, the late splash with Darian Williams, the transfer from Texas Tech, he's the headliner. I actually do really like the group that he brought in. You never know really until the games begin, but I actually do like that group that he brought in. I think it's about a fringe top 25 team, and I think on paper it's probably the best NC State team that they've had in some time.
Let me just continue on Wade for a second because, like I say, you know him pretty well. How does his style play in the ACC? Because he came off the other day after a press conference, press availability, as I don't want to. The word is not smug. He's very confident, perhaps maybe overconfident to a certain degree, but it just seems like that's who he is, and you love it or leave it. I mean, this is a guy that said, you're not going to see the Kentucky Derby winner riding a donkey. I mean, that's kind of those are his mannerisms and his sayings. How does he play in the conference?
Well, and he will say he'll be the first to admit everybody loves me until I lose my first game. But, what I would say, too, is, I think he's done a great job of, I think, proving the X's and O's stuff. We know about the talent that he had at LSU. But, I think there was this notion that he was only a recruiter. Now, that's probably not fair given the success that he had in an annually improving SEC. But then he goes to McNeese, and in year one wins 30 games. They win at Michigan. I believe they won at VCU. I could be mistaken on that. And follows it up with 2 straight NCAA tournament appearances in a single bid league. And so this guy isn't just a recruiter. I think he is a great X's and O's coach as well. And I think it's good for the rivalry now as long as you win. And so, again, we'll see what happens once he actually takes the floor. But I think it's good. From my perspective, it seems like NC State fans enjoy it.
It looks like he could maybe upset some of the balance in the league in terms of coaching style and I guess personality, which is something I think that the ACC could maybe use a little bit of an injection of.
Well, I was going to. I don't know how much time I have left, and I'll be quick on this, but I think the ACC needs it.
Yeah.
It's Duke, maybe Louisville's right there. We're questioning where Carolina is. I think the ACC needs a jolt of energy, of talent, of coaching. I mean, this is a league that has struggled outside of Duke and in certain years Carolina. So we'll see what happens. Again, I know I'm repeating myself. Third time I've said it. It's all fun and games till you lose that first game. But I think the ACC as a conference kind of needs that. And selfishly, I hope it gives me, you, everybody in the media another narrative to talk about throughout the season.
Absolutely. Well, Aaron, when we get the games going, we'll have you back on for sure. All right, man? Thank you for taking the time. That's Aaron Torres, nighttime host on Fox Sports Radio, also the host of the Aaron Torres podcast. Stick around. Your play of the day is coming up right now.
This is the Chevrolet Play of the Day.
We have action in Hagerstown. The Boxcars needing one more out in the fourth, and Ozzie Abreu from his fanny across the diamond to record the 5-3 putout. Hagerstown a 5-1 winner over the Lancaster Barnstormers, but it's Ozzie Abreu doing this for tonight's play of the day.